Alright, let's go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Hey all, how's it going? In case you don't know what this is, I talked about a little bit in my update video what it's going to be. This is essentially a thing I decided to do before even thinking of it as a video series. I just started doing this because I'm very much a list-minded person. I love making lists and keeping stuff organized in that way. So as part of kind of a New Year's resolution-ish thing is that since I love media so much, all forms of media, I want to try to kind of consume and appreciate as many different things in as many different forms of media as possible. So film, TV, video games, and even more books. I haven't read literature in quite a while, so I'm starting to do that for this new year. I don't know, I think it would be cool looking back at the end of the year. I really wish I had started it January 1st. Really missed opportunity because it started January 16th, so it's like going to be all the year except for those first couple weeks, basically. And I'm going to be doing this weekly. Usually it's going to be on Fridays for now. Today it's a day late just because that's all I could do. Yeah, basically I'm just going to recap what I've been watching and everything for the past usually week, but this time a couple weeks. And yeah, I'll talk about the thing that has been taking up the most amount of my time and I've appreciated the most. I'm also I'm thinking of an idea of maybe like some sort of board that I can add and keep adding on behind me of like different stuff I love throughout the year. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like just have 2017 and just different like pictures or whatever of each thing or whatever. Whatever. So what I got here is from January 16th up until January 27th. So a week and a half-ish. So really early on I was doing a lot of stuff. And throughout these past couple weeks I've actually watched the entirety of Hello My Twenties. Which is, well actually no, it's like episode 3 was the beginning of this journal technically. But this year, first month at least, I've seen and watched every episode of Hello My Twenties, which is otherwise known as Age of Reason. It's a Korean drama, so it's like a very particular thing. Not many people are into Korean dramas, obviously, but it was my first ever one that I watched. I had heard good things about them. None of my friends that I know of watch Korean dramas, so it was kind of disappointing. I was like really loving the show, and I just had no one to talk to about it. And I even looked online. I couldn't even find anywhere like a discussion board or anything. And it was a great series. I honestly just love Asian culture. That's something I've noticed about myself the past couple of years. It just really fascinates me the way it operates and the way people interact in Asian culture is so much different than maybe a Western would. Some of those characters were still very relatable somehow. I'm not the demographic for it, of course. It's like seems to be aimed towards young adult women, probably, considering it's centered around a house of females living together, and it's also like not overly sexualized, which I was glad because I like sexiness and all that, but I'm glad it took itself seriously enough to where it wasn't just like them half naked half the time or anything. It was actually like there was barely any sexuality involved in that except for the obvious parts that come with it in like a university environment that they went through. But I definitely recommend it. Me being a very inexperienced K-drama new fan now. I don't know, it's something about even just thinking of it, it makes me happy. It was just like it's one of those shows. There was a lot of sad stuff that happened in it, but it's like I wish it didn't end so quickly. It's just one season, 12 episodes, really good. 2016, I believe it came out in, and I don't know where to go from here because I want to watch another Korean drama, but at the same time, I don't want to abandon. I feel like I'm just abandoning that forever at that point. But so there's that. I also watched, throughout this time, 2 episodes of Young Justice. So I'm up to episode 4 on that. That's one of the shows that I follow along with Blind Wave, which is like one of my favorite YouTube channels. They do reactions. So basically I'll watch the episode, then their reaction. I do that for a few of the shows. As many as I can, I do that for. So those are kind of just side series I do along with them. Another one is Avatar: The Last Airbender. But unfortunately I'm really behind. Like, literally like 14 episodes at least that I'm behind on. So I only watched 1 episode this week, but I need to catch back up on that. RWBY, which is kind of a TV show, but it's really a YouTube series that I've watched a couple videos of. I'm up to Volume 3, Chapter 12, which is the entirety of Volume 3 there, basically. That's another show I was watching with Blind Wave. And they're on Volume 4 right now, so I'm closing in on it. It's a great show. And Dragon Ball Super, another thing that I've been watching along with Blind Wave. They really get me to watch a lot of stuff, if you haven't noticed. The English dub, of course. I've watched up to episode 2. They have a 3rd one out that I need to watch. So, I'm excited to watch that when I get the chance. Other than that, are just a couple shows I've been watching as they are coming out live. And those are new Celebrity Apprentice, which is surprisingly good. It is very corny at times, but my family and I have watched Celebrity Apprentice for a while, like a few years now. So it's weird being the transition from Donald, even though we were never a fan of Donald as a person. He was an interesting host. He made some random decisions, but it's interesting transitioning from that to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm really wondering if there's going to be another season. I hope there is, but I don't know. The ratings aren't great. And one of my favorite shows recently is Vikings, and I've been watching that as it comes out. Up to episode 19 of season 4, I believe. It was a couple months back that I just marathoned through all the Vikings episodes. It was crazy, but I really enjoyed it. I was loving it, and now even just for the short amount of time I was without it, for like the mid-season break after the season 4, I was like, oh, Vikings, need to get back in that world, and it's been great so far. It's taking an interesting turn here, but still enjoy it. Just, yeah. If you watch the show, you'll know what the turn was, really. I believe the season finale is coming up soon. Episode 20, I believe, is the season finale. So, very interested to see how they wrap it up and continue the series, too. That's it for TV. For TV, I believe. So, moving on, I'll just touch on the one book that I read very sparingly. Like, if I read a book for a good amount of time, just sit down and read it, I can get through a lot of it. But essentially with this book, I haven't had a chance to do that. It's been basically a bit for class. If I'm there early, I'll read it. Or just other random moments like that. So I've only gotten like 30 pages in or so. But really, it's a really interesting concept to me. So I'm interested to see how they go into it. It's called Playing Dead. Forget the author. I'm horrible. It's basically about the prospect of faking your own death. That's just fascinated me. This was a book that actually... Okay, it's by Elizabeth Greenwood. Yes. This was recommended at the end of... It was like for an Audible sponsorship that Good Mythical Morning had. At the end, they just recommended this book. It was something about death, or faking your death, was the episode of Good Mythical Morning. And they threw that in as a tie-in. But I was like, okay, I actually do want to read up more on this, because just the idea that you could just disappear and never come back again and just be untraced, that has always fascinated me. So interested to get more into that. But as I said, I'm very, very small progress. But if I just keep making small progress, at least I'll be reading something. It's going to be hard when I have to start reading more for school and stuff, though. So that's the only book I've been reading. It's going to be one at a time for books, pretty much. I'm not going to include school books. I don't think I have any aside from textbooks anyway this semester. The one movie, I believe I only watched one movie these past couple of weeks. I've been wanting to do another soon, but it takes up like obviously 2 hours or so. So it's a lot of time to dedicate to a thing when I want to, like I said, experience TV, video games, all these different things. So the one movie I did watch, which I had already seen, but I wanted to show my friend Luke here, I showed him The Naked Gun 33 and a Third, The Final Insult. The Naked Gun, the first one, is probably my favorite movie ever at this point. Just right up my alley, my perfect ideal comedy there. Just stupid comedy, but they know it and they embrace it. It's great. The main character is stupid. I'm actually writing a screenplay for my screenwriting class that might be reminiscent of that kind of character, where it's like you don't take him seriously, but he takes himself seriously. It's great. The third one is good. Not as good as the first one, I think. I think they slightly decrease in quality each one, just because the effect kind of wears off, I guess, when you first see it. It's amazing, and they've had some of their best jokes were the first one, but it's still great throughout the whole series. I do need to go back and watch the Police Squad TV series that it was based on, because I've heard that's basically the same thing, just TV form. That's how it all started. So, okay, and video games. I believe there's 3 here, and the first one is Red Dead Revolver. Now, I started playing this. I got about 11 chapters in. There's 27 total, I believe. And I was really planning on beating this. I essentially, when I started playing it, I played a couple different games for a little while to see which one I felt like playing. A couple PlayStation 2 games. And I was like, hey, I might want to play Red Dead Redemption sometime soon, so it'd be kind of cool to do Revolver, even though I know it's very different. But it really was not good. It was horrible aiming and everything. It has not aged well, at the very least. I don't know how it stacked up back when it first came out, but it's just horrible aiming and really frustrating parts at times too. I was actually expecting it to be kind of easy playthrough after the first chapter. That's why I wanted to stick through it and just beat it. But eventually, just yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to, like I said, I want to experience as much as I can this year, so I don't want to get hung up on beating this game, torturing myself through it. It really isn't a good game. So I then decided to play Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, which is a game I've played a lot. I've several times gone to it, like I'm going to beat it, like ever since it came out in 2008 or 7 or was, 2007. But I've never beaten it. It's just always been one of those things where I just kept stopping a good amount in, getting distracted. That was my problem. I'm trying to fix it. Red Dead Revolver wasn't a matter of distraction, it's just that I don't want to waste my time. So, unfortunate way to start off with Red Dead Revolver, but I just want to move on to more stuff. So, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, I'm hoping to actually finish it this time. I love that game. And it was kind of seeing the trailer for a new Fire Emblem on Nintendo Switch kind of inspired me to do that, because it's another like home console Fire Emblem. The first one since Radiant Dawn, so yeah, that should be good. It's a great game. Absolutely. And actually, those two kind of tied together, Red Dead Revolver and then Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. But before that, I've been doing this thing with my brother where we basically just pick a random game that has any multiplayer elements in it, and we just play all the multiplayer stuff it has to offer. It's just been I like doing random stuff like that, so it ended up being Blox on the Wii, which was a long journey. We actually played the single player too. It could be frustrating at parts. He got very frustrated a lot of times, but there's definitely some faults to it. Definitely some faults. If we just played certain game modes the whole time, it would have been a lot more enjoyable. But since we played it all through the whole story mode and everything, cooperative and competitive were interesting too. There was a lot to that game, really. So we did beat that. We beat almost every level. But man, it got really hard towards the end to even get bronze. Okay, and that's that. That's my progress journal for this week. I don't know if I've come up with a better name by now or anything. I want to kind of get a snazzier name if I can. I'm not sure though, because it really is a progress journal. I was thinking like Progress Report was the name of a series I was thinking about doing a while ago, similar to this. Just talking about my progress on stuff. So Progress Report maybe? So Hello My Twenties on January 19th. That marks my first thing that I kind of completed of this year in terms of media. So I'm excited that was my first one. That's a great foot to start off on. And then 2 days later is when we finished up Blox. So I can add that as well to the list. Like I said, I want to think of something like maybe some sort of cork board or something. I could put like something to show Hello My 20s and then just build onto it over the year. I think that would be cool to look back on, and this would be a cool way to track my progress. So yeah, I'm excited, guys. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you just any media. As I said, I really just love and appreciate all kinds of media as much as I can. So if you've been reading any books, watching any TV, movies, playing any video games, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Any that you particularly recommend to me. Also, with like TV and video games, I'm trying to stick with one TV show at a time, aside for the ones that are just ongoing. And then one video game, but I think I might do like a simulation game alongside each main game, because I really love life simulation games, or any simulation like Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing, those kinds of things. And I haven't beaten any of those. Like any Harvest Moons, I've beaten Animal Crossing, but not Harvest Moon. So I might just have like Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn and then like a Harvest Moon going on at the same time, and then just switch out Fire Emblem and, you know. But since Hello My 20s is done, I need to kind of pick another main one to focus on. Sword Art Online I was in the middle of from last year, so I might go back to that. That may be the one I focus on before I move on to something else. But then I might take suggestions. I might ask for people's opinions on what I should do after that. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. Love you. Love media. Bye.